Find y prime.
Dude, that's crazy.
Was that an agonizing grunt? Or? All right, so let's take the derivative. Derivative of e to a power is always e to the power times the derivative of the power. That's the general format. So we've got e to the power here, e to the cosine to the fourth power of 2x to the fifth. And then we got to multiply by the derivative of the power. So the derivative of the cosine to the fourth power of 2x to the fifth. I'm just going to take it slow, one step at a time. So, do you buy the first step?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's the first move. So for the second move, copy down the e to the power portion of it. That's just going to be part of our answer. So how do we go about taking the derivative of this thing here?
With four.
The 4 belongs on the outside, yeah. And then, so we can do 4 times the base to the third. So this would be 4 times the cosine of 2x to the fifth cubed. That's how you take the derivative of the cosine of 2x to the fifth to the fourth power. 4 times the cosine of 2x to the fifth cubed. And then by the chain rule, multiply by the derivative of the base. So multiply by the derivative of the cosine of 2x to the fifth. If you guys would like to move that fourth exponent to the outside of the brackets, that might help you to visualize it. So the fourth exponent belongs there before you take the derivative.
Then why are you doing that?
Why am I doing this part here, William? You always work from the outermost function in. So the outermost function here is the fourth power. The inner function is the cosine of 2x to the fifth. So you take the derivative of the outer function by the power. This would be according to the power rule. 4 times the base to the 1 less power. The chain rule says you keep working from the outside inward.
So you keep using the chain rule as?
You continue to use the chain rule until you've worked all the way to the innermost
Well,
function.
you can't-
Until there's nothing else to take the derivative of.
And every time you move to a next function, that first function stays the way each
That's right.
time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So now we're taking the derivative of the inner function here for the next step. So yeah, you just keep copying down the parts you've already taken the derivative of. So y prime is e to the cosine to the fourth power of 2x to the fifth times 4. I'm gonna put this as cosine cubed of 2x to the fifth to make it look standard. Most people would put the exponent right on the trig function like that. And then times, so looking at cosine of 2x to the fifth, what's the outer function here?
Cosine?
Cosine is the outer function, and 2x to the fifth is the inner function. So we take the derivative of the outer function. So what's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sign.
Negative sine, so it'll be the negative sine of 2x to the fifth power. And then by the chain rule, we have to take the derivative of the inner function on the next line. So that would be times the derivative of 2x to the fifth. Once we take the derivative of 2x to the fifth, we're done, because this is the last derivative. There's nothing else to take the derivative after this point. Yeah. So for the final answer here, we would have, this could of course be rearranged, but I'm just going to copy down everything. So y prime equals e to the cosine of the fourth power. So I'm copying down everything. So the derivative of 2x to the fifth, 10x to the fourth. And then you want to clean up your answer as best you can. So we've got a negative in there, so that negative is going to go at the very front. We've got a 10 multiplied by a 4, which would be a 40 at the front. So I would put a negative 40 at the very front of the whole thing. So for the result here,
So the best way we just look like that.
Yeah.
I give you credit, it was just, I'd rather you try to clean it up and put the negative 40 at the front, because the standard procedure is to put a coefficient at the front, If you have a bunch of junk multiplied by some numbers, you multiply the numbers together, put them at the front,
So you're just smushing all this together then because it's all multiplication?
Yeah, so it's all multiplication, so negative 40 goes at the front.
X.
Let's put the x to the fourth at the front. And then we can just write down all the rest of the stuff. So e to the cosine to the fourth power of 2x to the fifth.
Sine's negative.
Well, I put the negative at the very front there. So this negative I put at the front, so Just, yeah, and then we have cosine cubed of 2x to the fifth. Cosine cubed of 2x to the fifth. Sine of 2x to the fifth. Sine.
Wait, that goes down on the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah,
It's right here.
yeah.
It's
Don't-
very
don't
exposed.
do that.
I'm sorry, yeah, sorry guys. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sorry about that.
I understood what you were saying.
So e to that thing, cosine cubed of 2x to the fifth. I went to scrawny, the scrawny style here because I had to fit all this in.
I didn't even notice.
The sine of 2x to the fifth. Wow. It's barely fit there. Did I miss anything?
And that's the answer.
That'd be the answer, yeah. So this thing here is the answer.